Hello guys, yeah, it is me once again, and it is my name SubZeroExtabyte, and I am here once again as I just said, and what we are going to do today is pretty great, and now we are going to do something in this video, but I want to tell you guys something first to prepare you to what you are going to see in just these epic 15 minutes. And you guys might never have heard the story of Bill. No, I don't think so. It is a local story, but there is this story that some guy named Bill once lived here on this land where I am going to build my house that is totally going to be amazing, by the way. But anyways, Bill was a pretty great guy, but the thing that he didn't really have was luck with him, and he heard all these stories about some sword in the mountains, and at first he really didn't believe the stories of that very sword, but he heard a lot of different stories, and as you guys might not know Bill, I didn't know him either, but from even more stories, Bill was a really curious young man and he wanted to know the truth, but he shouldn't be that curious. But anyways guys, I am preparing myself to this thing, and I am just going to build a nice cozy house where I am just going to chill in, and I just hope that there are no really mad monsters at the night, and if there aren't really monsters around then I can feel safe, and when I can feel safe then can feel great, and then it is all going to be nice and stuff. So now I am just going to finish this house, and then when it is finished from the outside then I could place some cute furniture in this amazing looking house. It is basically a log cabin, only then it isn't made from logs, but it is made from cut logs, and it is basically just a small wooden block as we had a bit earlier this week, so that is pretty great I guess. But anyways, we are going to finish our little wooden block and then it will look great, and I would not care about the haters because it is not a wood block anymore with all this wood log things on top of it. So, jokes on all of you haters out there. But I knew that this was coming and you guys didn't know, so the jokes are really on you. British thermal unit, yeah. This roof is going to look just amazing, and I hope that it will match the house, which I think it will, so I am not really that worried about that part, but I do need myself to build some windows in my house in just a minute. But the inside will come, so I am not even worried about that, but I just need to do this and then my body will be dry when it rains. My great looking roof will then protect me from the bad weather that is around here. And it already looks pretty great, and I am also going for that look from the wall, that the top block of the wall is also going to have a roof bit placed over it, which personally I think that those things look amazing. So now we are just going to put some furniture in when we are done with the windows, and the windows are pretty great. I can just see all of the things that are near my cozy house coming, and then I could prepare myself if a horde of zombies would come at me or something. I am not sure what could happen, but yeah, this house is already looking cozy with this little furnace and the big chest, some light, and it is basically settled. I would put a bed down, but I don't think I have thought this all the way through. There isn't really much room to put a bed down, and I don't think there is enough room to mount an attic, so the ceiling will just need to provide us. So now we have a pretty cozy house. The only thing that is really missing is a door or something like that. Something along the lines of a door would be pretty nice so the cold would stay out. But a painting is a pretty good idea as well, but I don't really want such a big one. I am not sure why they are only giving me these big ones, but yeah, they look great, but they are just a little bit too big, so let's just change this up a bit. If I do this then it will register that there is a block there and that there can't be a painting right there. And this is also not working, so I need to place 3 wood slabs to just put one painting down, which is not really that great, and I think that I have to do this 3 times. So, 2 times more, which is not really that great, but I mean what has to be done, so just like that we have a new smaller painting up on the wall and it looks fantastic if I do say so myself. And now it is time to put just 1 more down and then the house looks amazing. Fantastic, it is done, and now I can start living in here. Well, that is if we are going to place a door in the door frame, which I put down because there need to be doors right there. A bed would be cool, and I can always try to fit it somewhere, and I think that this little corner is just great. It isn't no king size bed, but the person that wants to sleep over just needs to build a little shed, or he needs to bring his own bed or something. So, another great accessory in this game is the armor stand with iron armor or something like that. Gold is also pretty cool. You can't really do anything else with gold, so it is just great if you have armor made out of something that you don't really need and that it still looks amazing. But I mean, armor is really easy to find and I don't really need more iron, so I mean, why not just make it out of iron? I don't really like gold that much, so I mean silver is just amazing. And these birch doors are looking like doors of a shed, so now our house is a shed, but I don't really care. We have a door and a sign right now, so I am really happy. But I am already done with Casa de Sub, so that is just great, and no noobs were allowed. I don't know if you guys saw the sign, but yeah, if you are a noob, then I am really sorry, but you are not allowed in my shed. I only want the sharpest tools in my shed. And somebody once told me, the world is gonna roll me. I ain't the sharpest tool in the shed. She was looking kind of dumb with her finger and her thumb in the shape of an L on her forehead. And now you guys need to sing along. Well, the years start coming and they don't stop coming, fed to the rules, and I hit the ground running. Didn't make sense not to live for fun. Your brain gets smart but your head gets dumb. So much to do, so much to see. So, what's wrong with taking the back streets? You'll never know if you don't go. You'll never shine if you don't glow. But yeah, I am not sure what that thing here in this cave is with those torches, but I think it has something to do with Bill, the hero of this video. Well, we are not going to see him, hopefully, because he is pretty dead. But I think this is it, guys. Yeah, this must be it. It all adds up now. Obsidian redstone torches and a chest in the middle. Well, I am going to take the risk and I am going to take the thing that is inside of the chest, and I think that I already know what is inside the chest. But first I really need to make an exit. But I mean, this thing that is inside is just too powerful to run with, so I think that I am going to be a man and not plan an exit, but I am just going to take the sword that Bill once held as well. And I don't think I finished that story, did I? Well, anyways guys, the story is really great. If you guys have some popcorn, then you guys came prepared, but to the guys that don't have popcorn, pause this video and get just a bit of popcorn right now. Or if you have some chips and stuff, that is also great. So yeah, the story. Wait, you didn't take your popcorn? Okay then, go ahead mate, you are a true rebel. But yeah, this rebel right here that didn't take any popcorn or something else to eat is going to be bummed out when he hears this amazing story and he doesn't have any popcorn. But anyways guys, let's proceed. Now shall we? Well, this sword is really great, as you can see. But Bill, the guy that I was talking about, once heard from the local villagers that there was a sword somewhere deep down in a cave. There was obsidian and some redstone torches, and in the middle, there was this chest. No one dared to open the chest. There might have been ghost inside of the chest or something else. No villager was sure about that, so they just didn't open the chest and they lived happily ever after. But great stories were told that the thing that was inside the chest was a giant that would protect you for life. But the other villager would tell you that if you opened the chest, a witch would come out of her swamp house and hunt you for good, and that there was no escaping the witch. So Bill was not really sure what he heard when he was in the village. And as I said in the beginning of the video, from other stories from those same villagers that had aged over the years told me when I visited that Bill was a really brave and curious guy and he would enjoy helping the villagers out, so he did just that. And all by himself he went to the cave, he searched for a bit and he was just mining and stuff, and he has some valuable things in his inventory, but then eventually he came across this thing that matched the description of what the wise villagers gave him about that chest that was in the middle of some obsidian and with the spooky redstone torches on top of the obsidian. So now that Ben was there, he opened the chest without thinking, and of the first look there was nothing inside, so he already felt like he had just been hyped by nothing. But then a shining light came out of the chest and it was a sword. He came in for a closer look and it was a diamond sword, and it didn't yet have anything on it except for some sharpness enchantment. So Bill was pretty happy with what he had found, but he didn't know what would happen to him yet. So he exited the cave slowly, with testing out the sword on the mobs that he would encounter on the way. And then he had some meat and some stuff that he took off the dead mobs that he killed with his new sword, and he was really happy and stuff. But when he came up on the normal level, then he realized that he couldn't find his house anymore, and he was walking around in circles for the last 3 hours, without even realizing what he was doing. So, something what the villagers must have been right, he thought in his head, and he was still not sure what it was, but he was feeling strange and he didn't really know what to do. But he insisted that he was going to find his house eventually. Maybe the circles that he was walking in got bigger and bigger or something, he told himself. But nothing of that was true. The only thing in his inventory was the sword, some building blocks, which weren't enough to build a comfortable house, and some rotten flesh and a spider eye. So he did what anyone would do when they would be in such a position, and he was really hungry, so he started to make a crafting table out of the last wood that he had, and he held 2 blocks of wood in his inventory to eventually light those blocks and maybe make some better rotten flesh, maybe some well done rotten flesh. So he did just that and he thought it was delicious, but after the meal he went to sleep in the open. He just dug a little hole where he could sleep in so he would really be that cold thanks to the wind. So, he was lying there in some hole. So now he was just sleeping and he didn't really feel safe or anything, but he needed sleep, and if he didn't go to sleep then he knew that something like that wouldn't have a positive effect on his body and mental strength, so he decided that it was night and it was the best thing to do. But when he woke up his sword was removed from his inventory and he didn't know where to start looking. Maybe his head was so weirded out that he didn't remember where he placed the sword, and he wasn't able to fly like we are doing right now. But he wasn't able to do that and he needed to do it the ancient way, and he didn't really have much left in his inventory. All the food was gone, the wood was gone, and now the sword was gone as well. So that was really not nice. But he did have a spider eye though, so that was great. He would duct tape that spider eye to his back and now he could look behind him. No, just kidding, he did not actually do that, but he would keep the spider eye in his inventory in case of that he was really hungry and that the spider eye would help him to survive. But now the only thing in his inventory were some blocks and that spider eye, so he quickly thought by himself that it was necessary to get some wood. So, he started to punch some trees and he began with nothing once again, and it was all going great. But after he gathered some wood he came across this cave and he couldn't really remember what it was, but he felt attracted to that cave, and in his mind, there were things going around that there were treasures and stuff in the cave. But he answered and none of those things were true. But then all of a sudden he saw this chest with some obsidian around it, and yes, you guessed it, there were also redstone torches on top of the obsidian. So, as he was a brave young man, he opened the chest, and what was in there? It was a sword, a strange sword with the name tag Haunted Sword, and he really didn't remember what happened last night, so this was all new to him, and that is just weird because he already lived that day and he took that sword just under 24 hours ago. But Bill couldn't remember nothing of that. So now he went out of the cave and he didn't have anything to eat, but he was not feeling well. He wasn't sure what it was, but he decided that it would be best to kill those sheep that were across of him, and he killed 3 of them, but he didn't get 3 wolves. So, he decided to punch some trees and he got some wood for a crafting table, some blocks left to make a bed, and then he also had that wool. So, he decided just to not make a big pillow but just a small pillow, and it worked out for him. He was able to sleep in it, but he didn't feel like sleeping yet. So, he decided that it would be best to just make that bed, place it down, and then just explore a bit so he would know where he was at the next morning. It was still day, so there was no light to waste, and he didn't waste no natural light, and he headed out and he saw some house. He didn't know what house it was, but it was built out of wood, which were his favorite houses, and he would also always make houses out of wood. And he decided to walk to the house and look if someone was inside to maybe help him out, or maybe if someone was not around then he could just sneak in and steal some supplies. Normally he would never do that, but when he got closer all of a sudden he was feeling really hot and the house was on fire. He was not sure how the fire started, but he was able to get out and he was out, and then he just looked at the house and he saw this light on top of that house, and it was a sword. And he looked in his inventory and all of a sudden the sword in his inventory was gone, and now it was on top of the house. But surely, he couldn't climb a burning house just for a sword. But he couldn't think right, and without thinking about the consequences he climbed the house and he took the sword. It was really hot up there, but he got the sword. What now? He didn't know, but he jumped 3D of the house and now he was lying there on the floor with a broken left leg, and he knew by then that it wasn't a really smart idea to jump off the house. But anyways, he could finally sleep. But when he was sleeping he had this really weird dream that felt like a déjà vu. You guys probably know what that is. It is a feeling that you have already lived that moment and now you are living it again. But Bill had that and he felt like his dream was reality, and it actually was. And in his dream, he also walked to that same obsidian thing with the chest, but now he had all kinds of stuff in his inventory, and he decided that he didn't care if the obsidian would be destroyed or not, so he just placed a bunch of TNT and he blew the place up, and it felt so good. But some say that he never woke up from that dream and that his soul got attached to that sword which he blew up in his dream, and he would never get out of that dream, and it was a circle that would never be broken until someone took that sword, and that someone had to also be as brave as Bill. And now I am not sure if that someone was me, but I didn't feel weird or anything. But my house did start to burn, but that was because I lighted it, right? Wait, now I don't know anymore. Am I going insane? Is the sword impacting my mental health as well? Now I am really not sure what is happening, but it is not good. Let's quickly say goodbye to all of you guys. I have to go if all of you don't mind, so goodbye guys. Don't ever take a sword that has the name tag Haunted Sword. Goodbye.